Welcome home, Raiders. Tonight, patch 8.1 lands on Azeroth and so much more. And we have a special guest as well, as Convert to Raid presents the Battlenet News. Everybody, welcome to the show from the CTR command post in Sacramento, California. Today is December 11th, 2018, and it is now 7:11 in the PM Pacific time. Thanks for joining us from all around the Blizzard universe, and hello, my name is Pat Krane, the host around these parts. Around these parts? Sure. And as always, the players are here. Let's go first to our returning champion from Lagging Balls. It's Thyst. Hello, Thyst.
Wood parts.
I don't know. I don't know. Shush. All right. Purr. All right. And also, our special guest comes to us from the AWC. What? Yes. WoW Arena commentator extraordinaire. It's Supatease! Hello, man!
How's it going, everybody?
So nice to see you. And as Thyst looks lovingly at you through her camera, welcome, man. It's good to have you here, and we plan on talking a little bit about 8.1 now that it's dropped. You actually have a new vid out on the tubes of you that talk about all the class changes that have happened and what that means for PvP. And yes, we are Convert to Raid, but we're done with PvP. You know what I mean? So,
do you have Warmode on at least?
No, I play Alliance. We don't do that. Come on.
Well, you get 30% more stuff now, though.
Well, maybe you get 30%.
And you can turn it on and off if it gets too scary now. You can turn it off when you want to now.
Right.
Isn't that nice, Pat?
That is one of the nice changes that has happened with Warmode right now. And for those guys that don't know, for all you Alliance out there, basically it is that now you can turn Warmode off in any rest area. You can only turn
That is so precious.
But you can only turn it on in Stormwind or Orgrimmar. So it's kind of the same. It's
just I think you can turn it on and off in any rested area now.
You can You can turn it on and off in any rested area.
I think so. I'm like 99% sure, but I'll leave 1% room for error.
What I saw, at least in the patch notes, was that it was you could turn it off in any rested area, but you could only turn it on in the capital cities. So. You know,
that's not as much fun.
That's so cute, though.
This patch has been out for a day.
No.
We don't know.
We don't know anything. Right. I tried to play it, and everything was bugged when I tried, and I was running out of time. But it seemed really great, you know, for the little while that I was playing.
Until it blew up. And then it wasn't. Yeah, it was... It came up a little bit later than I was expecting, and then I had technical problems on my end before the show, so I had to concentrate on fixing that stuff. And but I still managed to get some of the content out of the way. And Supa, I know that you've been playing a lot today. What have you been playing? Mostly Arena, or have you been playing the content, or what?
Almost exclusively Arena. I mean, the content is time gated so much so that you could just burn it through, I think, in less than maybe an hour. So I'm kind of just saving that for whenever I can't find any Arena specifically, and then I'll get to it because it's not going to take me a huge amount of time. I'm not going to really fall behind. And really right now with where the patch is and how they're releasing things, what changed the most was rated PvP, because everything about rated PvP is class changes, and there was obviously a lot of those.
Yeah, and we'll get to that in just a little bit here. I kind of want to talk about a couple of things that we were talking about last week on this show, and Thyst, you weren't here. Super, you weren't here either.
I wasn't. Yeah,
because you were at the Game Awards.
I was indeed.
So how was the Game Awards? What was your perspective on the Game Awards?
Rivers Cuomo from Weezer was there, Pat.
What?
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy.
It was really cool. There was tons of industry people there. I was sitting kind of close to Papa Jeffe, which was awesome. He kept standing up. So before the show, people would come to see him and he'd stand up and shake their hand and take pictures, and then he'd sit down. And then somebody else would come along, so he'd stand up, and
sure.
He was sitting really close to Ninja. Ninja was there. There's some Muppets there.
Wow. Muppets.
Crash Bandicoot was there. Yes.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
But yeah, it was really cool. And Overwatch won eSport Game of the Year, which was really, really exciting. And I'm glad that happened at least.
Yeah, congratulations to Overwatch for eSports Game of the Year. And we're going to be talking about eSports a little bit later on too, because I know that we've got kind of an eSports roundup once again that I kind of want to talk about, especially with Supa being here. I mean, it kind of makes sense.
Well, of course. We definitely have to take advantage of him.
That'll after the show? No, I don't know.
That was phrased very open-ended there.
Yeah, she does.
That's why you're in the middle.
She does that. And if you guys aren't watching the video, he's in the middle of the screen for the video stuff. That's what she's talking about. Yeah. Just letting the audio only people know what's going on. And also, we also had the Gamers' Choice Awards on CBS this weekend, where World of Warcraft won MMORPG of the year, fan choice.
Yeah, and favorite.
Yeah, and I'm like, how could that not happen?
Yeah, what else is there? Nothing.
Right. I'm like, you gotta pick WoW. That's your only choice, I think.
Can I just fan favorite esport duo was Monty and Doa. So that's awesome. That's kind of Blizzardy, right?
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great.
And then one more thing, there's 40 categories, but the thing that I thought was funniest was fan favorite gaming device. Can you guess what that was?
What was it?
Phone?
No. No.
Was it a phone?
No. It was not a phone.
I don't know.
It was PC. PC.
Oh,
Yay.
there we go.
That's right.
There we go. Nice.
I'm just saying.
Sure.
It's important.
So Thyst, you haven't been able to play 8.1 all that much today?
Not really. But I've heard a lot about it and it seems great. I started the Dark Shore quests. That was really fun, very interesting. I didn't get too far before things bugged out, but that's patch day. Stuff happens. You just have to kind of roll with it. Some lucky people will get in and be able to do everything without hesitation, but you kind of just in the back of your mind have to realize that everything is new and it's all being spread out all over the world, and just give it some time.
Sure.
Go in there with a grain of salt kind of thing.
And Supa, as long as we're talking 8.1, have you bought Warcraft 3? And yes, it does tie in to 8.1.
I know what you're going to ask. I saw a bunch of them.
Dude!
I was thinking about buying it, and then I didn't do it, and then I saw it, and then now I kind of do.
The best mount in the game is
the spacebar animation.
So Meat Wagon is out, and it basically looks like a siege engine. It has a little thing on it with raw meat being tossed, and so if you're running around going forward, you can jump with the spacebar and all that kind of stuff. But if you're just sitting there and you press spacebar, it will fling raw meat in the general direction of forward. It's pretty awesome.
That's as a vegan, I want to say gross, but as a Warcraft fan, I'm like, awesome. Pretty cool.
I know. It's so awesome. I love this thing. I'm like, this is it for the entire rest of the expansion. Even after flying comes in, I'm just going to be rolling around on a meat wagon.
You just love riding that meat wagon, don't you?
Sure. But I also play a druid, so I don't have time for that. I'm just going to travel form. So, yeah. Let's see. Okay. As long as Supatease is here, we should talk a little bit about the class and spec changes. Like I said, you had a YouTube video that just came out. Was it today or yesterday? Yesterday? Was that it?
Yesterday, yeah.
Okay.
Yesterday.
So, from a PvP point of view, and from a professional PvP point of view, really, what are we looking at as far as the changes? Yes, it's a PPVP.
PvP.
Yeah, but you're a vice president. You're a vice president professional of PvP. So that would be a VP PvP.
MVP, VP, PvP.
Oh yeah, you're an MVP. That's it. That's what it is. MVP PvP. Sure. All right. But in your professional opinion, what do you think about the changes that they were able to do on like what are the big winners from 8.1?
Unholy Death Knight, I think, is going to be the #1 most improved. They added a lot of creative honor talents, although one of them isn't working properly, I think, currently. There's one where you can summon a giant abomination. So it's like that flesh creature. That's the patchwork. He looks like patchwork.
Yeah.
He's supposed to run around punching people for a lot of damage, but right now he kind of is depressed and just stands still and doesn't do anything. So if he gets up and runs, he could be a lot of fun. But even outside of that, they've got like the most amount of reworked new abilities. Basically, they're definitely the #1 winner for this patch as an outcome. Elemental Shaman 2, I'd say, is pretty close second. It feels like a completely different class. I would, in all cases, say that 8.1 for Arena is a new expansion.
Really?
And if you're interested in trying something that's completely new, then right now is a good time.
Wow. So Elemental and Frost, was it?
Unholy.
Unholy, sorry. So are we looking at possibly some new comps coming to light? And are there some traditional comps that may not be doing so well because of 8.1?
It's still kind of early to say. I mean, I was playing for the better part of 5 hours in the day, but it's obviously, I can take some quick moments from it. So I would say Holy Paladins are the best healer right now in Arena, at least. They received the most amount of buffs, even though they lost a little bit of utility. They've got so much healing and good mana regeneration that they're easily the most powerful. So you could play any combination of Holy Paladin, Unholy Death Knight, Elemental, Arms Warrior, Fire Mage. I feel like these combinations of classes may be the current strongest, and you can kind of match them wherever you really feel like because of how powerful they are right now.
Very cool.
That's good. I just went back to Fire, by the way, yesterday.
So any tips for Thyst, because she's really, now that she's back in Fire, is there anything, what's the big change with Fire right now?
I mean, Fire didn't change very much, but Elemental Shaman and Fire Mage, they both shoot lava and they shoot fire. And basically, Lightning Lasso for Elemental got the biggest buff of any ability I've ever seen in the game. So if you don't know what Lightning Lasso is, it stuns the target for 6 seconds. You have to channel it, which means you can't do anything else. But it's undispellable and you can move while it's channeling. So you can start it, run around the corner. And the kicker is that it does 50% of someone's health over the 6 seconds. So if you start it and then run around the corner, you can just take half of someone's health. The mage is just sitting there shooting fireballs at them while they're stunned.
God.
So those two classes together right now are kind of like the wombo combo.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
That sounds amazing.
Are there any big losers or any big gaps that 8.1 didn't address that at least yet?
Assassination might have got a big kick in the crotch. I have to wait and see, really. I felt like Assassination was the most worrisome of everything. Basically, 98% of the specs are better or about the same, and we're already good. And then Assassination and potentially Retribution Paladin, I would say, are the last specs that I'm kind of concerned about, but I have to wait and see really before I say that they're completely unplayable, because I did face some and they felt okay, but they're definitely not on the Volcano level of Ellie and Unholy, but they're still about middle of the pack, I'd say.
Sure. And I know that you kind of have a PvP skew on things, but enhancement is that I don't think that necessarily got touched as much as other shaman wanted that spec to, be buffed or whatever? Because I know that kind of a lot of shaman were like, are we in the line to get, buffed or whatever? And
yeah, in Mythic Plus, enhancement wasn't very good at all. Like I was playing Mythic Plus as enhanced, and maybe I could keep up, but it was definitely a lot weaker than other specs. And I think they rearranged all of their damage, changed a lot of their talent outputs to try and make different talent builds better. Enhancement in Arena, though, before this patch was actually very strong.
Nice.
And
I remember
when
that.
I faced it on the patch, I thought it was actually going to be weaker because they basically removed a lot of powerful honor talents for them. But because of all the other changes that they made for Mythic Plus, that also then applies to Arena, the enhancement is still just doing so much damage right now. Like you pay enhancement shaman, arms warrior, and you're just really crushing people still. So it feels like it's basically the same place it was, which is a great spot for Arena. And I haven't tried it in Mythic Plus, but I can only assume that it's better.
Sure.
Most likely.
Yeah, and do you have any sense of how it will play out in PvE for folks that really, for our raiders out there and our Mythic Plus folks and all that kind of stuff? Do you have any sense of it at this point?
I mean, I just got a buff. I think it's just all around. Basically, everything got lifted up, and it really struggles with consistent AOE since it doesn't have what was the ability called from Warlords of Draenor, Flame Nova or something like that. Fire Nova. Used to have Fire Nova to keep up with sustain AOE and Mythic Plus, and it just doesn't have that anymore. So it falls behind when you've got Fortified and huge trash pulls. It falls behind a lot of other specs because of it.
Okay. All right. Cool, man. I have other questions for you.
Uh-oh.
And this is all about AWC. Now, for those guys that don't know about AWC, I will say this. Some of the most exciting stuff was at BlizzCon. I think that we can agree on that. So, all season long, we were waiting for BlizzCon to happen. It finally did, and it was tremendous. What does it take on your end to be able to do what you do, as far as talking about the matches as they're happening and really trying to go through the process of thinking about strategy and how they all work together? I don't understand exactly how you do what you do, I guess.
Well, number one, you need IQ 900, right?
So when I started casting, which was now 4 years ago or 5 years ago, my casting style was basically reading the spells that were on the screen in a really fast pace, so it looked impressive, right? So
Sure.
Just saying a bunch of the abilities that were happening all at once is impressive because you're seeing all of them and saying them as they happen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's useful to someone who knows the game, but it's not so useful to someone who doesn't know the game because it just sounds like you're talking gibberish really fast.
Right.
So for me, what it's been is trying to incorporate players' stories. So their statistics over the year, who have they been consistently going up against, really driving story home a lot more over these past 4 years and building the players' brands. And then also simplifying the language. So taking the abilities or taking the important moments and then describing them in a way that you'd understand in common English that even a top player would understand, while not needing to be as overbearing in the amount of information that's actually being spoken. And that's kind of what I've been working on for a while now. So, and you take that and then you have to mix it all together when you're casting, because sometimes you want intensity and energy. So you have to know all of those moments. You have to understand exactly what's going on between each team, who's looking to make a move, so that you can fit in a little story moment, or when to get your volume down, get your dynamics down. So you're not yelling when you shouldn't be and whispering when you should be yelling. So it's a lot like I graduated a music program, and my favorite thing was improvisation, and it's a lot like that. So you have some things that are consistently happening, like chord changes, and you're monitoring it. What would be the best note? What dynamic do I want to hit? And you're basically telling a story, and you're improvising the entire time. And that kind of challenge is what really gets me into it, and just incorporating more things into it makes it more fun.
Sure. Well, and I really love listening to AWC because of the pitch changes and intensity changes, because the matches are kind of, I don't know. I mean, it kind of ranges from 5 to plus minutes, 5 to 10 sometimes. And just listening to how many times you guys go up into the stratosphere with your voices, and you're like, all right, it's very.
Can you do that again, Pat?
No,
that was great.
No, I don't think I can. but it's just very interesting and fun, and I love listening to you guys do your stuff.
And it was especially fun at BlizzCon because you've got a whole room of people reacting to the tone changes and stuff. Like, we were there the first night and they locked us in. Well, not locked us in, but they wouldn't let anyone else in because it was too late. But like AWC was still going. But we were sitting like right in front of you, Supa, and like it was so late and we were so tired. But every time you guys would get excited, we'd sit up and we watched the screen and be like, okay, oh God. And it was just, it was that. And it was so much fun. Oh my gosh. And then the second day, of course, was legendary. But like, I don't know, I spent most of the time watching esports at BlizzCon this year. And like the AWC was by far like just the most gripping. Like, it was insane. It was intense. And I loved it.
It was really good, man. It was nice work all around by the entire team. And what was your favorite moment from the year of AWC, I guess, or what are your favorite moments in general when you're doing this thing?
I mean, the most cheesy answer to that, it would be Sea-Doo winning BlizzCon, right? Because of just
that was pretty
how
epic.
insanely well set up that story was. Like, I think it's like 5th place, 4th place, 3rd place, 2nd place, 1st place. Like, you literally like you can't like the year that he got 2nd, he was like as close as you could get to winning without winning. Like, it was like heartbreak. So then you get to see it happen. Like, that's kind of like the obvious answer.
Yep.
I would have liked to see maybe a bit stronger performance, and I'm going to get salt from this, but stronger performance from the European teams. Obviously, a lot of them were disadvantaged in the current meta that BlizzCon was in. So EU was playing a lot of Discipline Priests, like really fast comps, and those were just not the best comps at the time. It was really about Shaman and Shadow Priest and Balance Druid and slow comps. So it would have been nice to see them branch out onto the other meta comps and try and go head to head. But now, obviously, the next BlizzCon is going to be in a completely different state, so that might not be the same case for 2019. But still, I'd say Sea-Doo is definitely my favorite moment.
Oh, it was awesome, and yeah, I think you're right. I mean, not having the EU represent in the finals was weird. It was just
it's the first time in BlizzCon history that a NA final in any game.
Right, and so it was just super weird and
weird
and delightful at the same time. I didn't mind at all. But EU, you're so silly.
What?
No.
Careful.
No,
you watch it.
They're silly. No, they're good. They're good. Just
because you're outnumbered by the Commonwealth today, Patrick.
Yes, I've been told that I am outnumbered by Canadians on this show.
Yes,
and all I can say is, I'm
intimidating.
I'm from Minnesota, so I mean, I there's like a kindred spirit that's shared.
So you always default to your Minnesotan.
Absolutely.
That's not. You're still an American. Plus, now you're a Californian.
I know.
You're a California girl, Pat. You got that tan.
I'm just a California girl. That's me.
Yep.
That's me. All right, let's jump back into some more 8.1 talk and let's see. Today, just so you guys know, I played not only the in the 1 hour that or hour and a half maybe. I actually helped out Jaina in the war campaign today. I felt pretty happy about that one. Well,
What'd you do?
It's okay. We're gonna get the killer pretty soon.
Yeah, we are.
Well,
I can't wait to get my hands on that boss.
Right. And I also helped out Tyrande with her becoming the Night Warrior. And it's kind of cool now because you get for all you Night Elves out there, after you complete the first part of this ongoing thing with Darkshore, you get to have an appearance switch where you can have the dark eyes. So that's kind of neat. Yeah. You get to have the
that
black,
was sarcasm.
The black eyes, and you get to look real tough. I don't know if that's...
Didn't Wes Borland do that? The guitarist from Limp Bizkit back in the 90s? I'm just saying, it's been done.
All right. I don't know about him in particular, but sure. It's a little goth, you know. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, goth night elves. Wow.
Yeah.
Good night elves.
The kiss.
Yeah. It's cool.
Transmog the kiss tongue for undead.
It's cool, and it didn't take too much time, and now I get to wait for part 2 to come out next week. So for the war campaign.
Well, that's an exciting thing to happen.
Yeah. Did you get so? Did you get a chance to play any of the war campaign or anything like that?
I played like the first couple of.
And then it bugged out.
Right? Yeah, right at the good part because Toronto kind of shows up, and I'm trying to do some stuff, and I'm just slaying night elves, and she shows up, and I'm trying to make sure she doesn't do anything, and she's all like aggro and stuff, and I'm like, dude, relax, your tree's not even on fire anymore, it's like smoldering. Yeah, it's fine.
She's kind of mad. I'm not gonna lie.
I can't imagine why.
No. right Her and Malfurion is Malfurious.
He's I was gonna make that joke and then you made it.
See? Look at that.
So cute.
Right. What else? Incursions are coming, right? I didn't see any of the incursions yet, and I don't know if you have either, Supa or what, but the incursions are coming, where we're gonna get attacked by the opposite faction, right?
Yeah, so it's like they're kind of like Legion invasions. Mm-hmm. You'll just open up your map and there'll be an incursion someplace, and it sort of like takes over the place and it wipes out the world quests, and then it gives you, I think, like 4 quests to do, and then apparently that's going to reward AP and like a 370 weapon or some Azerite armor. Mm-hmm. So worth.
Cool.
Worth.
Yeah, and now with the XP nerfs, it's the best way to level up your 110s. So
if you have any.
Sid, how many characters are you playing at a time? How many characters do you have at 120?
Ones that I actually care about, like I do my Mythic Key on, I do my Arena Cap on, or how many just max level characters?
How many do you have at max level right now? All of them?
6.
6?
And I've got like 4 halfway.
Wow.
But I'm only playing like 3 seriously, and then a couple I keep them as maintenance, and maybe I'll play them.
Wow.
I have trouble with 1.
Yeah.
So
he has a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I do. I'm playing a druid. Ugh. How much trouble can that be? A lot, apparently.
Probably. So, that's like 3 characters in 1.
4.
And you've got 2 druids. 4.
Yeah, I know. So I've got 8. So I've got more than Supa. All right, I'm good.
You just get to by all the specs. Like you log in 20 minutes later, you're like, I'm going to be Guardian. Oh, I'm going Moonkin, and you just never get any gear.
Right.
Spend the whole time.
That's right. Well, it's funny. It's like I keep on looking for resto gear, and I haven't played resto in a while. So it's like maybe I should change that. Just change my
maybe you should
my spec, my loot spec.
You want to be my pocket heals? You want to just like come over to the Horde permanently? I mean, I know you have like 10 Alliance guilds or whatever, but
yeah,
come on over. It's fine.
It's a lot of there's a lot of Alliance that I need to maintain and stuff like that. But I will jump on a Horde tune and play Arena with you. Not Arena, but maybe some BJs or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Oh well. The PvP brawl right now is Arathi Blizzard, which is one of my favorites. It's so much fun. It's beautiful, it's gorgeous, and it makes you it forces you to be aware of your surroundings, which is really important in BGs, but people don't really understand that until they take away your vision. And all you can see is like the dense snowy night.
Snowflakes.
That's what a warrior screen looks like anyway. They just don't see anything except what's in front of them.
Oh, God. All these warriors are coming for us now.
Look out. Look out, they're coming.
I'll just step to the side. It'll be fine.
Just take the objective. They won't pay attention.
Wow. All right. Oh, we're going to get some emails. That's all right. That's fine. So now, Supa, is there anything in 8.1 other than class changes and other than Arena that you look forward to on a regular basis? Or is there something in particular with this patch that you are super into that doesn't relate to Arena stuff?
Well, I was a bit disappointed that they're making it so you can't delete your keystone anymore. So if you get one that you don't like or can't do with your group, you can't just delete it and get a different one.
You can't do
I saw a lot of people not really. Yeah, that I don't know if it was intentional that you could do that or not intentional, but all I can tell is that a lot of people don't like it that you can't delete the key. Because I was enjoying doing. I get my mythics done every week with Sowers, the MDI showcaster. He's like an MVP. He basically runs everybody through them every day. Wow. And I have fun doing that.
That's awesome.
I mean, yeah. I mean, what would be the purpose of that, though? Like not being able to delete
the keys. Maybe people are. This is my guess, but I'm not sure. People probably delete keys for specific dungeons all the time, so no one is ever doing that dungeon, and maybe they have statistical data on it, and they don't like that people aren't doing a dungeon, so they don't want to have the option that you can just remove it. But I think people will just not do their key. Then they'll probably just leave it and not do it in some cases. I'm not entirely sure which ones are. It kind of depends on the affixes.
Sure.
As far as which dungeons are just like obnoxiously close to impossible to do. But it seems kind of weird that they would revert that change when so many people enjoy having the ability to do it.
Seriously. That's what I used to do though. Like I would never delete it, but if I didn't like it, I just wouldn't do it. And then I would ask somebody else to take me through theirs.
Well, that's what you're supposed to do anyway, right? I mean,
yeah, and that's how you make friends and enemies.
And mortal enemies.
Mm-hmm. I have a few of those.
Right.
What's up? I know you're watching.
Wow. That got dark all of a sudden.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. So I want to bring up something that's weird, if I can.
Oh man.
I know I'm going to bring up something that's weird, and I'm kind of sad about it a little bit. So like last week after the show, I think Thursday, Blizzard released on YouTube the survival guide video thing with and Lore was, voicing it and all that kind of stuff, and he was talking about all the stuff that's coming up for 8.1 and I know right now we aren't seeing necessarily a lot of content hitting quite yet. It's going to be, the new raid is after the holidays and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know why it happened, but I have some theories on it. On YouTube, that video got hammered. It just got hammered with dislikes versus likes. You don't see this very much.
No, when I saw it earlier, like an hour ago, it had like 5K likes and 16K dislikes.
Yeah,
that's quite a difference.
That seems like there's a lot of kind of there, and I'm guessing some of it is probably content, some of it might be performance from Lore because there were some comments about him shouting or something like that, and
I feel like talking about nobody that I saw in the comments knew that it was Lore, so I don't think it was anybody like coming for Lore. I think it was a lot of like grasping at straws, but like this really confused me because a lot of the comments were just the same old stuff. It's like, why isn't this game dead? I don't think anything that they're showing me is fun sounding, so therefore I hate it. This isn't vanilla WoW. This isn't like how WoW used to be. This isn't like how Legion was. Therefore I hate it. I'm so used to seeing those types of comments that I don't understand them anymore, because they're just like, they seem to be applicable for everything that people don't like about the game.
Right. And some of it just might be that we had a comment in chat that made it seem like that said that it sounded like it was kind of a, let's gang up on WoW right now, and kind of a conspiracy, maybe. I don't know. I looked through all the comments, and the only one I found that made any, like, I'm not advocating this, like I don't feel the same way as this person, but this is the only one that was different and made a little bit of sense. It was from somebody named Douglas, and he said, "This is not a survival guide. Survival guides should give in-depth looks at what we need to know. This is a highlight video for the patch with no substance." So obviously, like, his opinion is this patch has no substance, but like what he's saying is it's not technically, it wasn't really a survival guide. It was just more like, we've got this and this and this and this, Right. Before now, Supa, do you have any thoughts on this at all?
Well, I mean, I had two speculations that maybe some of it is still blowback from Diablo Immortal.
Yes.
And that's obviously just speculation. And then I heard something, but it's rumor, so I don't think, like, I can't say this for certain, but maybe Asmongold watched it on his stream and wasn't liking it, and maybe people also watching it decided they didn't like it. I don't know if that's true or not. This is a rumor that I heard. And then obviously negativity is going to spiral out, right? Like as soon as everyone's hating on something, it's cool to hate on it, so everyone hates on it. I mean, people have done that for a while, for a really long time.
Sure.
But maybe not to that much of an extreme. It could just be the overall discontent for what happened initially in BFA. So I think the number one problem with BFA was the Azerite gear acquisition.
Yeah.
The fact that you couldn't you would never know if you would actually get the piece you wanted. It was just, I'm hoping I'm getting lucky. I don't know when I'm going to maybe get it. So that was like a pretty big grievance. And maybe that's, people are just having those built up and they're like, well, I can pick on this. Like, pet battles, like I'm sure some people aren't really excited for the pet battle dungeon, but there's like what you're doing patch. I'm trying to remember if you remember in Warlords of Draenor they did the selfie camera patch.
Yeah,
I don't think they did it.
That was
they do a video
not over that.
Yeah, 6 point that was 6.1, I think, when they did the selfie cam updates and stuff like that, and yeah, it's not selfie cam updates. At least
that was so awful because like they're just trying to give us something that like one or two people worked on their own time, and it was just supposed to be for fun, and it was just a quirky little WoW thing, and people were so angry because they thought that they had put like their best developers on the selfie cam instead of all of the other problems that were in Warlords of Draenor, and it was just like it totally just ruined this nice thing that should have been just like funny and cute and wholesome. It was awful.
Right. Well, and Supa, to all your points, I think that I think that there's some grain of truth in all of that stuff. Like Diablo blowback, I saw read in the comments talking about mobile games, being out or that their developers were working on mobile games. And the content, it's kind of weird because now we're in this phase where they introduce a new patch and we don't see all of the content right away. And whether it's time gated or whether it's just spaced out or whether it's, the holidays are coming up, they don't want to release a big raid right during the holidays when people are going to be with families. So then they, because they did that a few years ago, what was it, like 4 or 5 years ago? They released a raid like right before Christmas, and raid teams just kind of like revolted. They were like, what is going on? Why are you doing this now?
We raided anyway. Of
course you do. And I think they finished up the world first before Christmas time, but it's just kind of like a weird time for everybody, being able to find raiders to do everything, especially at that kind of a level. So I mean, it's just kind of like all these different things I think are kind of piling on top of each other, and it's not that 8.1 doesn't have content, it's just that not all of it's released quite yet. So it's a tough spot, especially after kind of a not great BlizzCon for announcements. It was just, I think it's just kind of, feels bad man type of thing.
I mean, I was hype about Warcraft 3.
Yeah,
I got out of my chair for that.
That was the best announcement, right? I mean, that was pretty awesome. So yeah, I'm on the train. I'm on the train for that. I've already got the meat wagon mount, so
we know about your meat wagon pack.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think what Supa said was right. Like, once one person wants to be negative and is openly negative, like people are going to be like, "Yeah, I also feel that way. Cool. Now look at me. I'm angry. Now I'm cool."
It's mob mentality,
and it just seems to be happening more and more these days, and so it's kind of weird. I don't know. Yeah.
And I think like the whole like conspiracy theory that Activision is like killing Blizzard from the inside and everything that's gone wrong since is like Activision's fault and it's all just this thing, it's not. It's fine. This is like this type of stuff has been going on for years. Every time something like not bad happens, but every time something doesn't meet a bunch of people's expectations, they act like it's never happened before. And that's really frustrating because it literally happens all of the time. Like, and then all the people like me who are just like, this is cool. Thank you for the new content, Blizz. I'm going to enjoy this.
Right.
I'm not going to that YouTube video and talking about it. You know, I'm not going to the forums and saying, thanks, Blizz. You know, like, maybe not me personally, because I have like a bunch of outlets like this to thank Blizzard, and I know people from Blizzard that I can thank personally. But I think if more of us, just like us content people or people who are really stoked on all the content that we're getting, would just, you know, try to go against the grain a little bit and go to the forums and go to the YouTube videos and just say, hey, I think it's great. Sure. And if everyone else here thinks it's bad, that is your prerogative, but I think it's great.
Sure. And
maybe that would help.
And I mean, just to put it into perspective, because I mean, you know, we do have a lot of dislikes for this video, but at the same time, the video has 370,000 views. So there are a lot of people that aren't saying anything. They're like going, thank you very much for the information. Let's play the game. And that's great. Yeah. That's awesome. So maybe it's much ado about nothing. But I think that
perhaps
I think it's at least worth mentioning that there's a little bit of something out there.
Negative feedback's always really hard to deal with, because you've got one half of it is people that just care a lot, and they feel they're not getting what they want. They think that they could get better, and they just want what's better. And you can't really count that out, because that's still valid. And then you've got the other half of that coin that's I just want to hate on it because it's fun to hate on it, and it's like. You can potentially erase both if you ignore all negative feedback, and then you never can do anything with your whatever it is you're making, right? So I'm weird when it comes to criticism, because I actually think that it's really good to, like, it's actually good that Blizzard can see comments and see dislikes, because then they can at least get some sort of idea, and then they should be able to identify what's valid, what isn't valid at that point. But it's you literally get direct access to your customers' feelings, which is something that's never really been the case. Like, before the internet became a big thing, like, you kind of had to guess, what do my customers want and how do I give them that? But now it's like you can get it directly, and you obviously have to use your own judgment. So I don't know. It's hard to say whether or not it's trolling or it's just a lot of people with valid concerns that are expressing themselves in a way that maybe they could have been more polite in their phrasing, but they're just frustrated. It's really hard to deal with.
It's kind of a combination of passion and poop.
Yeah. Ew.
Right. I mean, it's just like some people just like to you know, take a dump on everything, and other people are truly passionate and want fixes to whatever their particular problem is. So
yeah. So that's so right. So like, if anyone listening is having a problem with the new content and feels the need to go and express that on the internet, just remember that, like, you're not doing anything wrong, and in fact you may be helping the game and the developers, but it's the way that you put it. Like, that's what's going to catch the attention of the right people, and that's what's going to affect change. And like, in the same vein, I think there's a Q&A on Friday, isn't there?
You may
to
be
talk
right.
about all kind of stuff. Yeah, so
I think you're
that's a really great way to sort of like figure out the things that are confusing you. Like, you use the hashtag WoW Q&A or Warcraft Q&A, and then they only choose the questions that are like well thought out and not like genuinely polite, and the ones that are constructive, and the ones that make sense, and the ones that represent the greater feelings of people in general who are playing. Yep. So if you think that you have a real valid concern and you feel really strongly about it, go ahead and voice those opinions. Just try to do it the right way, because then we all win, right?
Try to do it with respect. That's what I say.
Yeah.
So
RESPS. Wait.
PvP. I think everything is spelled with PvP.
RESPEVP.
I don't know. All I know is
you're down with PvP. Yeah, you know me. You're down with PvP. Yeah, you know me. You're down with PvP. Yeah, you know me. Who's down with PvP?
That's right. And we can all agree on one thing, that the most awesome content has hit games today, because Winter Wonderland is back.
You won't get rid of me that easily.
Yeah, as we're going to go into Overwatch. So this was another game that I had to play today because I was waiting for WoW. I was waiting for WoW to come in, and I'm like, oh, it's Winter Wonderland today again.
The most wonderful time of the year.
New skins, new stuff, new, whatever.
Can I just say, I've been like forcing Supa to play Overwatch with me lately.
Yeah.
He picks up heroes so quickly. He came in and he's like, is Ash the new character? What does Bob do? Oh, he's like an AI alt. Cool. And then he just picks her up and like pones with her. It's amazing.
Right.
He's incredible.
So
anyone can pwn with Bob.
Well, I mean, yeah, but
kinda.
like, you're good at Ash too.
Yeah.
But it's pretty great. And she's got a new skin.
Well, right. And she's got a new skin, and Mercy's got a new skin, and Junkrat's got a great new skin.
Do you want me to go through the list?
Yes, I want you to go through the list. What do we got?
Okay, so we got 9 new ones. So we got Biathlon Widow, who's dressed like a biathlon,
which is pretty awesome
person. Yeah, and it's pink and it looks super 80s.
Yep.
What?
Biathlete.
Oh, yeah, maybe. I mean, according to a lot of fan lore, Festive Reinhardt, who is gold, and he's got like holly all over him. He looks like he's adorable. Figure skater Symmetra, who's very beautiful. Gift wrap Bastion, because he is a gift. See what I did there?
Yeah, I actually got that skin today. That was awesome. That was like from my free loot box.
Oh,
so you got lucky.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good. Now we all hate you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Get off the show.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Krampus Junkrat.
So good. Right.
And that's interesting because like they were teasing like the Rat King, or I've never seen was it like Night of the Crack Fairy?
The Nutcracker
Crack
thing?
Fairy. All right, yeah.
Crack
Fairy Symmetra skin.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's like some Rat King character, and he was on a t-shirt or a sweater, and everybody's like, that's gonna be the Winter Wonderland skin for Junkrat. But nah, we got debated again.
Yep.
He's Krampus, which is pretty cool. Snowfox Lucio, who looks awesome.
It's pretty great.
Snowboarder Zarya, who looks like a bear.
Looks adorable. Awesome. Yep.
Sugar Plum Fairy Mercy, who looks very beautiful.
Did you see, by the way, did you see the Fabelina did artwork of the new Mercy skin and the new Junkrat skin as well? Did artwork.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
So it was a little bit of a confusing sort of thing at first because like most of everything except Winter Ash and Gift Wrap Bastion, I believe, got some artwork commissioned by different artists. The Symmetra one, the figure skater Symmetra, there was a picture of her commissioned by the dude who does Penny Arcade, Gabe. So it's pretty cool. But a lot of people thought that Overwatch got these community artists to design the skins, and then that's what we all thought for a couple days, and then it was just they asked them to draw pictures of them.
That is not the case. Yes, they were just asked to draw what was going on.
But it would have been cool. And it is cool of Overwatch to, acknowledge these artists and celebrate them and ask them to do this anyway. It was really cool.
Right.
So yeah.
And of course we get the Yeti Hunter and the Maze Snowball thing back, and I played both of those, and they're fun. They're just a good time. The snowball thing annoys me to no end.
Because you're not good at it?
You only get one snowball, and then you have to go reload, and then that's the worst. The worst. And I
just want to say, yeah, well, obviously. Yeah. I just want to say, though, when you reload your snowball shooter, your Mei is automatically going to look down as she's reloading. You do not have to stay looking down. You can look around and keep loading. And a lot of people didn't realize that, myself included. I found that out last year. You can actually look around, and I would recommend it because you will get mercilessly snowballed in the face otherwise.
Right. It's a good time though. As long as you don't get, as long as you realize that it's arcade mode and you don't have to play it.
Okay.
Well, what? I mean, after a while, maybe you get a little tilted because your team.
Hey, some of us are good at the snowball offensive.
I'm okay at it. I survived to the end of several matches and ended up in a tie a couple of times and all that kind of stuff. But
That's cool.
This is a bit of a tangent because I'm just remembering off the top of my head because you're talking about arcade mode. There's a new brawl in this patch, and I don't think it's this week. And it's a Nami brawl, the panda that burns all your food. And it made it sound like it's a cooking PvP game. And it instantly made me think of the Nintendo Switch, with that game where you're running around as like a bunch of chefs and you're trying to make stuff with your friends as quick as possible. I was like, is that going to be what that is? Because it would make it sound like it was going to be something totally different than what you would expect, at least when I was reading the notes on it. I don't think it's out yet, but it looked really well.
Well, we'll have
on one hand really weird and one hand really cool.
Yeah.
We'll have to look ahead on the calendar and see what's going on with that.
You know what that reminds me of? That minigame in the N64 Pokemon Stadium where you're all Lickitungs and you have to like go around and eat the sushi.
Oh my god, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I love that game. Oh my god. And you have to like eat the most expensive sushi and then like you have to like push people out of the way. And sometimes the sushi is spicy, so you're like freaking out.
The only game I ever played on N64 was Conker's Bad Fur Day. After I found that game, I'm like, there is no other game.
I would go to the Cornerstone and rent that secretly and never let my parents know, even though I was not old enough to play that game.
Oh, I love that one. A giant singing pile of poo. It was amazing.
Oh my god. That game was hilarious.
Such a good time. Anything else on Overwatch there, Thyst?
Yeah, so if there are some skins that came out last year or the year before that you did not get, they're available for purchase now. Like Casual Hanzo, who's got the man bun.
Oh yeah.
I don't even play Hanzo, but I want Casual Hanzo so bad.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And the Overwatch League away skins are available for everybody too.
Yes, so that's pretty awesome. So they're only available to the Twitch Prime people that bought the Overwatch package for like $30 a few months ago. Yep. And even then, you didn't get to choose which away skin you got. It was just like a set. So like I've got an away skin for like Glads on Winston, and I've got an away skin for MyXL on Zenyatta. But like I couldn't choose that.
Right.
So now they're available for purchase, so you can go get them, and they're really, really nice. I recommend Dallas Fuel or Gladiators.
Bias.
Right.
Very.
Right. not the Yeti, not the Sasquatch, the Titans.
Oh, the new team? Vancouver Titans.
Actually, I guess that's probably not a part of the
Wait,
package.
that's my team.
Yeah, that's its team.
Yeah.
That's my team.
Right.
As of what, an hour ago?
I have a team now. I'm going to pay more attention to Overwatch because I have a team now.
Right.
Yay.
You should. And then when they go up against the San Francisco Shock, we can fight it out.
Like physically?
No. I mean, like, you cheer for your team, I'll cheer for my team.
We can duel.
Right. Oh boy.
I would pay to see that. I would pay to see Packet slaughtered.
That would be over so quickly. It would not be worth your money. So.
We could like film it and then slow it down so it would last more than 5 seconds.
Come on.
No, seriously. It's like
no, I would be so terrible at that. Anyway,
Pat's too timid in PvP. He needs some coaching.
Do a pet battle duel.
Well, yeah, we could pet battle because I think I have 3 that are level 25.
Watch out.
I have any.
I think. I know I have 1 that's level 25. I don't know about the rest of it. I really don't know.
What is it? One of those beavers? My beaver's 25.
Wow.
I'm just not going to say anything. So Supa, how long have you been officially a caster for World of Warcraft stuff?
Now it's been so long that I'm trying to remember. I think I started with some community stuff in 2014.
Okay.
And then I had a bit of a letdown because I'd been approached by Blizzard to do BlizzCon that year, and then they went back on it because it wasn't in the budget at their final call for talent.
Yeah.
So it was like a bit of letdown, and then I had like a moment there. I was like, hey, I could either just be like, oh, that's kind of bad and quit and give up on it, or I could be like, hey, they were interested if I put work into this. maybe they'll take me next year. And that's when GCD TV started happening, and it started World Degenerate, end of Missa Pandaria kind of era.
Right.
And David Hollings, the kind of like one of the main owners of GCD TV at the time, really wanted to do consistent tournaments, really wanted to make a scene for it. And I worked with him, and then Vinruki, and then a whole bunch of people that I could list off. And we produced a tournament like every single weekend, literally every single weekend. It improved every single weekend, and so much so to the point where Blizzard abducted David, and now he works as an I think, I'm trying to remember his exact title because I don't want to get this wrong. I think he's WoW PvP eSports manager,
something like that. Yeah,
that's cool.
Something like that. So now he's behind the scenes, and now GCD TV is taken under a new mantle.
Sure.
So it's still ongoing, but that's kind of how we're started. So 5 years.
Wow. So you've been around the block as far as, you know, being around Blizzard esports and stuff like that. And what has been your take with like all of the different, I mean, because you kind of were, when you started, I'm trying to think of when Heroes of the Storm, when HGC went live, and that's only been out for a few years, right? So you kind of were,
might be the same time frame.
It's like 4 years,
kind
right?
of there at the beginning of it, and then Overwatch League is coming in, and what do you think about the state of Blizzard esports? Just kind of like generally speaking, like big, broad stroke. What are your thoughts on esports?
I feel like what Blizzard's done with Overwatch League, if they did that with every game they want to do esports with, it's easily the most solid. Like they've got good franchising, good sponsorships, like this whole idea of bringing in the global thing, like we just said, we're kind of memeing like now I have a team, right? But that actually might bring new people in that might not even play video games. Like, wait, what? Vancouver has a team for that? What is that? And then they're going to watch. It's not like just the kind of random funny names people make online and no one can really connect to from reality. But when you can bring in a city as a team, like that's a really good idea. I think what they've done with Overwatch League recently is going to do it's going to set like a new bar really for how esport leagues are organized. I think it's one of the most impressive. And now that I've got a team, I'm definitely going to watch my team.
Well, there you go. And actually, the cool thing about that too is that they announced all the Overwatch League stuff over this last week, and they were talking about how teams are actually going to be playing fewer games total, but there are more teams. So as far as viewers go, you're actually going to get more games out of the deal, and they're going to be able to rest some of these players because one of the big problems was burnout, right?
Oh yes, burnout and culture shock, big time.
Big time.
A lot of these guys, they're still in their teens, and they're probably from Korea, and they've never been to the States before, and it's culture shock.
Right.
And it's communication issues, and they miss their families. And
like last year, I know that Pine had some big problems from NYXL, and where he like had to sit out a bunch, and then they were really cautious with bringing him in, even after that. So it was a tough learning experience for some of those guys to be able to kind of step up into the pros.
Definitely, but it was necessary. Like they had to figure that out, and now each team is going to play 28 matches instead of 40. Right. So it's going to allow a lot of these guys to visit home more often, which I think is really, really important as we've seen, and just more downtime to scrim and to get to know each other better. Like a lot of these new teams coming in, like their rosters have only really been finalized in the last couple of weeks, and a lot of them don't speak the same language, and so like communication barriers were a huge issue with the first year as well. So the more time that they have to scrim together and to sort of learn their cues and sort of get to know each other and work on their chemistry, the better for the team. And so the more time they have off, the more then they can work on that through the season as well.
And we're seeing some of that take place even on the off season right now. There was another, I can't remember who it was, retired because of other things. I mean, and I think the communication thing was part of it, and not feeling cohesive with the team and blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff.
Are you talking about Seagull?
No, I don't think it was Seagull, but Seagull was one of them, right?
Yeah.
Oh no, I think I know what you're talking about. I'm trying to remember the player's name.
Yeah, I can't remember either. I think it was somebody from the Mayhem.
It was C Swoosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Mayhem. Yeah.
Yep.
He's actually looking into coaching though.
Right. Which is cool, which is awesome.
That'd be great. Really, really great.
That would be
He could
cool.
be an amazing coach.
Yep. And so now, Supa, has there been any announcements for AWC stuff at all? Do we know anything that's for 2019?
Not that I've heard of. Nothing.
But that wouldn't start for a while anyway.
It's always like that, though. It's always like that, though. There's usually like this down period time, at least from my experience with casting, where you don't really hear anything, and then you get put into a call, and then they make an announcement. So it's usually like this. So
right.
I'm used to it.
Yeah, and I know that one of the things that also has not been announced is HGC, anything HGC, and usually at this time of the year, we have seen roster apocalypse happen, and where we have all the rosters just kind of explode and come back together again in some kind of weird new way. And we know we have usually known at this point in the year kind of where the season is going and all that kind of stuff. And we just there's been a noticeable void for everybody, and it seems like more and more places like Icy Veins and other, kind of outlets like that, where they look at it and they say, why haven't we heard anything from HGC? With AWC, maybe it's a little bit different, but they have a different schedule. They have a different timing, of everything. But this week we actually saw a couple of casters take themselves out of the casting role.
Gillyweed, Trixler.
Yeah,
not sure if it was anyone else.
Those are the two bigs that I saw anyway. Those guys are, Trixler's, he's going to concentrate on streaming, and Gillyweed is actually going over to Rocket League. Essentially, she's going over to Psyonix.
So you'll see her soon, then, Pat.
I will, because let me tell you, I like me some Rocket League. I do.
We know.
I do. I still really like that game.
It's a little bit heartbreaking because, like, for some reason for me, and it may just because Gillyweed's been with HGC so long, I kind of have like a connection with her face and that game.
Me too.
So it's like a bit disappointing in that sense. And I think Trixler worked with Caldor for the European teams a lot, so they kind of were like in that. So it's definitely like upsetting to see duos and like casters that have been there for so long leave. And obviously it creates some uncertainty since they haven't even made any announcement. Like, I don't know anything specifically, but it definitely makes the whole thing seem really uncertain. And I'm hoping that they make an announcement soon, because obviously AWC doesn't have the same kind of official league format, right? So that the teams aren't getting dropped by their sponsors on this certain deadline, because it's just not there right now. Maybe it gets to that point eventually, but right now it's not. So that stress isn't there. But with Heroes of the Storm, it obviously is. Like, the players need to have information so they can sell that to the brands and the sponsors that want to do it. So I'm hoping that they make an announcement soon, at least, to kind of at least clear the air for the team so they can get working on being able to get income, basically,
or some sort of resolution on all of this stuff. Would be nice. No matter what. I mean, it would be great. I think it's just kind of, Heroes of the Storm has been always kind of in a weird place anyway, because you have games like League of Legends. Not sure if you've ever heard of it. It's a thing.
What is it?
League of Legends. That's what they call it. I don't know.
I'm not familiar.
I don't get it myself. But they're kind of in a tough spot with their competition. They're also in a tough spot where they've been in a tough spot with their game a little bit, as far as matchmaking. And I mean, there's always been like little things like that with the game that has been kind of fiddly. We'll say it that way.
I hope that this just means that bigger and better things are coming, and it's just taking a little longer. I mean, obviously we all know I tend to like look on the positive sides of things, and I know, and I'm not trying to downplay how stressful this is for people who are actually working and stuff, but maybe this means some big's going to happen, and it's going to be even better, and they're just trying something new, and it's going to be super insanely successful and awesome. Maybe that's why.
Maybe, or maybe they're going to go through something like what Hearthstone has announced. Hearthstone, HCT announced that they're changing the way that they do things as well, or that they are changing the way they do things. not as well. That's an assumption. But they're changing it so that now that they're going to have online qualifiers, they're only going to have 3 live global tournaments. They're still going to do all the local the stops that they've done before, but now they're going to have just like 3 big live global tournaments and then Premier Play, which is kind of the Premier League of Hearthstone or something. I'm not sure. So it'll be interesting. It'll be
that sounds fancy.
They're trying to make sure that the people watching are having a good time and know exactly what's going on all the time. So, just changing it up. It's all good.
Yeah. I don't know. I think with esports is not a new industry by any means, but it certainly is blowing up even more every single year. And I think a lot of these experiments, while like daunting to people working in the industry, are necessary. Like, this is the only way we're going to figure out what works for what game and when and why and with who. So,
and in StarCraft 2, they've already announced that Cyril won the 2019 World Championships for StarCraft. So that's pretty amazing as well. So
yeah,
that's what I heard. It's not actually written anywhere.
No, it doesn't have to be. It's written in the stars, Patrick.
It is written in the stars. Let's see. Anything else esports that you guys wanted to hit on at all? I mean, because I know that we're kind of going around with things. What, like, when does the AWC? When did it start last year? What time did the season start?
I'm trying to remember. I mean,
March.
Marchy-ish.
Yeah,
I think
in the spring.
February, Marchy-ish.
Marchy-ish.
Yeah,
Marchy-ish.
That's a good.
I don't know if their plan is to do the same. If it is, maybe it's this close, but.
How do you think it worked? Because I know that they switched it up last year. They did NA one weekend and then they did EU the next weekend, and then later in the season or later in the year they switched it up so that it was EU NA in the same weekend, essentially. I mean, like every weekend. Do you think that worked better for eyeballs on the AWC?
I mean, I'm trying to remember what our viewership trend was throughout the year. I think it started slow and then it built up over the year, but you've obviously got like the hype of a new expansion, which is going to carry viewership just in general, because it's just a whole bunch of new people coming back to Warcraft. It was more work to do both EU and NA in the same weekend, but I think it was better for people watching, because if you do EU NA, maybe the EU people just don't come in one weekend and then the NA people don't come in one weekend or something. But if it's both every weekend, then there's a little bit of overlap and maybe some curiosity that's sparked, because there's not a whole week to forget about it. I enjoyed the double whammy, but it is a bit more work to be able to prepare for 16 teams as opposed to 8 teams on a weekend. But I think the double one worked better. I obviously don't have the analytics. That's kind of just my feel of it.
Sure.
I loved it too.
Yeah, it was kind of cool, because then that way you're not forgetting about, the EU competitors or the NA competitors on the off week. So, because you don't have one. It is kind of
exactly.
Nice. It is kind of nice.
Hey, I wanted to talk about a new esport coming up that's not Blizz.
Uh-oh. What do you got?
Magic the Gathering Arena. Magic Arena.
Magic Arena.
Esport. Yes. It's going to be lit, Pat.
Is it?
Yep.
And that's it? That's all you got?
Yeah, that's all I got.
Okay. All right. Anything else that you guys wanted to chat about tonight about any of the Blizzard games, or we could talk more about WoW if you want to, but we don't have to. I know that Limit signed a deal with GNC, which I thought was weird. The raid team Limit.
Can we just talk about that for a second?
They signed a deal with GNC, so they're going to be the GNC is a sponsor, and they're going to provide. They're going to be their nutritional advisor. GNC.
That's it. That's the phrase.
Isn't GNC cars? I might be just dumb on this. I thought GNC was car dealership.
No. That's GMC. GMC
okay.
GNC is nutritional. I don't know what it stands for, but it's
some dumb American
But it's
thing.
the place where you get all your I don't know, your supplements.
Your nutrients.
Your supplements.
So they're sponsoring limit to make sure that they're well nourished enough to get through the new raid.
Yeah, I think it's funny too.
It's just like, because I'm thinking it's only funny. Like, it's great. I mean, the more people sponsor WoW players, the better for everybody. Like, this is fantastic. I think it's awesome. But how funny is it? Because it's like I raid like what 6, 7 hours a week, and like I'm eating garbage the whole time, and I'm pretty sure that my nutrition is never affected.
Sounds like a personal problem.
Right. You're not rating 70, 80 hours in a week. You're rating
That's
6
true.
and eating garbage, and you can get away with it. But these guys are well-toned athletes.
Ooh, how do you know they're toned?
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm just like, okay, yes, I shouldn't be able to speak to this because I am a garbage person and I am not a professional WoW player, unfortunately. But like, just the idea, like, I'm just thinking of like your typical like raider sitting in a chair, like this one, like all like super swole and like chugging like some kind of like nutritional shake or something like that they had to like mix, and they're just like,
wait, are we talking about Jira?
I mean, maybe we are.
I think the health thing is becoming more of a thing. I don't know. It seems like
I think so.
There's no stigma there anymore between people who work out and play video games. It's like it's all blending together.
Well,
there's not really any sort of...
And like the guys that I really love that do hero streams, Heroes of Fitness, those guys are great, and they're like they'll play a game and then they'll work out. And then they'll play a game and work out a little bit. And Sid
works out every day. Like, he's super swole. He's like Swolinka. The second coming.
Maybe.
You're getting to Swolinka. I don't know. No,
I'm Swolinka is Holinka is back. There's no like.
He's gonna be pushing tires across Blizz HQ. No time.
Yeah. You and Holinka should have a duel.
Yes. In game
like
and IRL.
Maybe in 2 years. He is huge. Like he got trolled way too much, and now he's ready. Like no one's gonna mess with him ever.
That's right. And now he's the combat designer, so he decides how you fight. That's pretty cool too.
You know how he designs combat? He literally fights people in front of like the dev team, and they're like, "Oh, okay." Like he like grabs a dude and like punches him in the face, and he's like, "That's how you punch that boss, and this is how you punch that boss." And then he like rips his shirt off.
Don't forget, Swolinka is the new Chuck Norris, so you gotta in Baron's chat, gotta do it. Gotta do it.
You have to, or he'll come to your house and punch you.
He just needs to look your way, and you'll feel it. You'll just feel it deep in your soul. That's what I did.
I saw him at BlizzCon. I was like, "Oh God." Like, have you ever gazed at a man who could like probably kill you twice before you hit the ground? It's intimidating.
I love that dude. He's so awesome though. He's so awesome.
He gets way more hate than he deserves. He doesn't deserve it, I should say.
Not at all.
All the trolling he gets.
Yeah. You think?
It was just because he was the face of PvP for so long.
Yeah.
He really was. So all right. Well, I think that that ends our show. Well, very sad, but so I'm going to play this music, and we'll talk a little bit. By the way, guys, thank you very much for joining me. And as we normally do at the end of the show, this is your time to talk to people and tell them what you do and how you do it. And Supa, I'm going to let this go first so she can kind of show you what I'm talking about. Go ahead, Thyst.
So when he asks me what I'm up to, I like to make a joke first, but they usually don't land, so I'm not going to do it this time. Hey, everybody, my name's Thyst. I do stop laughing at me.
Sorry.
I do a podcast called Lagging Balls. It's a weekly one, and we talk about all of the Blizzard games except StarCraft because we're not intelligent enough to play it. And it's got lots of inappropriate jokes and swearing, so if you like that, that's good too.
Yep.
I work for a company called Imagine Media. We do a thing called Try Hard, and you can find that on Snapchat on the Discover section. Just type in Try Hard, all in one word, and you can see what I do all day long.
Wow.
All right.
Wow, that's amazing. All right, Supa, where you stream and stuff, right? And you also have a Twitter account. Tell us about that stuff.
I'm Supatease. I'm a caster for AWC. You can watch it at twitch.tv/Warcraft. And I also just a personal WoW streamer, fitness, psychology kind of stuff. I like helping people with their problems. Twitch.tv/Supatease. I make YouTube guides, and I'm going to be branching them out to a whole wide spectrum of things over time. And I'm doing my best to make a video a day on it. That's youtube.com/Supatease. And then obviously on Twitter @Supatease.
You're just everywhere. And you're awesome. And thanks so much for coming on this silly little show.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for talking about 8.1 and some of those class changes that are coming up, your views on PvP and how that might change, and of course, all of the esports stuff that we talked about at the end of the show. Thanks so much. Thyst, as
always. Guys, check out his guides. No, wait.
What?
Check out Supa's guides on YouTube. They are insanely helpful. He literally makes them every day. Like, they're incredible.
And you did a big, huge wrap-up on 8.1 and what it means for PvP and all that kind of stuff. So,
like an hour and a half's worth. It's amazing.
It's pretty intense.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's pretty intense. That's all.
Like camping.
Yeah, right. All right. Now, about this ding-dang show. All right.
What?
I don't know. Make sure to follow this show at Convert to Raid on Twitter or wherever, and also go to converttoraid.com. That's where we have everything. We have show downloads, Discord info, videos, our guild stuff, our audio stuff, our swag store, and of course, the Convert to Raid podcast network, which features shows from Thyst over there and all of the normal, all of the regulars. Again,
normals.
I know. I said it last week too. It's weird. You're not normal. So go over to converttoraid.com and check it out. Or you can also catch us on YouTube, Twitch, SoundCloud, Spotify, Pandora. What? Yeah, all that stuff. Once again, Supatease, thank you. Thyst, thank you. And Twitch chat.
You're welcome.
Thank you guys for joining us. And you guys at home, no matter where you're listening to us, we really do appreciate that you're picking us up. And we hope that you had a good time. So, with that, I'm going to say that's it for us. And for all the guys that Convert to Raid, bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye. That was fun. Thanks, Supa. Thanks,
thank
Thyst.
you.
No problem.
You are, for what?
for doing what you said you were going to do, just giggling all show long.
Yeah. Pretty much. I just sort of asked my way through it.
Right.
It's fine, though, because that's why I'm here, right?
You're here for all of your personality and charm.
Oh, I've got personality and charm?
On the good days.
Oh my god, wait till we
Wow.